Sensory diet for ADHD. I'm just giving this term here so you can refer a bit more. Movement breaks, messy play, tactile box. These are things you will have to coordinate with the parents and have in place. So in between your sessions, maybe as a positive reinforcement, you can give them, okay, now go. You can take a card or you can have these cards in place, right? They get to pick or they get to decide what they want to do, right? So little things like this. All these resources I'll be sharing with you guys, okay? There are so many cards, like printables, or you can even have them sent to the child so the parent can have it, or even you all have it virtually in your session. What type of feedback should I be sharing with parents was another question that I got. So I just want to leave you all with this as well. You know, as parents, it's very difficult, yeah? Y'all are going to just work with them for a couple of sessions and that's it, right? Living with them is even more challenging. So always acknowledge the parent, discuss the strengths of the child and constantly monitor and give them updates on their progress. Keep very open communications, encourage, empower the parents, continue collaborating with them, and most importantly, sandwich your comment. Okay, this is one of the key things. Even to the child, more than to the child, the parent, actually, please sandwich your comment. So what we mean by sandwiching is give us the positive, start with the positive, then go to the critic, finish with the positive. All right? Yes, Kamakshi.
Heza, we have a question in the chat box.
Sorry.
Amani is asking, does it gradually fade away as they grow older? So I
This
guess
is for
talking.
autism.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I guess
Oh, I'm
it's
so sorry, I
autism.
wasn't peeping into that. So the thing is like this. It gradually fades away in the sense adult autism or autistic people with who have now become adults, they have now learned the socially appropriate thing. So they know how to behave in the more socially appropriate way as of the expectance of the society. But they have to put a lot of effort to do that. It's not natural. So that's why they probably sometimes don't want to, like, they don't always want to go out there. They're not overt like that, like, I want to go to this party. They're not like that because it's very exhausting. But they do realize what is expected and they try to give that, especially with adulthood, and if it is high functioning. But they may have challenges of maintaining relationships and things like that as well, because they're very literal. They can take things very literally. Yeah, I mean, because in this very short time, I can't dive so much deeper into the topic of how it is like when you grow with it, all these situations. So yeah, I hope you're all aware of the difference between tantrum and meltdown. Yeah. Tantrum, you have a need, and the moment it's met, you're sorted. The child settles down. You're able to get your child back in front of the screen. A meltdown is very common in autism. It's very intense. It's beyond their control. They might perhaps just stop like after they've really, the entire body has given up, and then they calm down, right? ABCs of behavior is one of the behavior management strategies I want to leave you all with, right? There are times when, like even Himanshu asked me at the beginning, is the child just naughty or is it a need, right? So for you to manage these kinds of behavior, especially ADHD, because it's hyperactivity involved, think of the ABC, which is the antecedent. What is the behavior and what is the consequence I'm giving for everything? So if you want to control or not repeat a behavior that is causing hindrance for your session, reflect on ABC. What is happening before the behavior of the child, right? If it's a behavior that you do not want to encourage, what happened before for him to do this? And what did the child do? He threw the book, or he just got off the chair and was running around the screen and saying, I don't want to sit at your class. Let's assume it's something like that. Then what was the consequence, right? What did you do right after that behavior occurred? So think about these three things when you all are trying to manage behavior. An example, when the teacher is about to give the math homework, that is the antecedent, the student hits the peer, right? In order to avoid the homework. So there's always a need. What he wanted to do was avoid the homework. Teacher was giving it. He gave a shot and the teacher put him out of the class. Same way, virtually, if your child is doing something and then you take 10 more minutes to scold the child and your lesson is hindered. And that's exactly what he wanted, perhaps. So, he's going to repeat that form of behavior if you're not managing it effectively. So think about that. ABC with ADHD and autism, you will have to know their condition prior to making some of these behavior management decisions, right? Behavior momentum strategy, build up momentum towards the desired behavior. Start with easy and then move on to the demand. Start with something your child is most likely wanting to do, right? So I had a child, I remember one example is like everything for him was cricket. And he was Sri Lankan, but he was all about Virat Kohli. Okay, all about Virat Kohli. So I had to manage. Now my task was to teach him to read. He was at a level of like year 4. So he was able to read to some extent, but his comprehension, all that was just too much for him. He didn't want to write and all that. So every task that I had to do, I had to connect it to Virat Kohli and cricket. So every passage was grade level, but cricket related. Do you understand? So I'm encouraging him to participate in my session, and I am achieving my objective of the session as well. And the child is, of course, benefiting also. So again, creative lesson planning, right? The role you will have to take, you may have to have this debate with yourself. Are you going to be a general tutor or a remedial tutor? Especially if you have a child with the diagnosis officially, okay? So if you're a general tutor, you're just going to be focusing on the content. But if you're a remedial, there's a lot of things that you're going to be focusing on: the process, the content, is this benefiting the child, what is the condition, all of that. A tutor is going to just reteach the topic that they perhaps in the textbook. But whereas in remedial, you are going to find compensatory strategies, right? Now, touch math, for example, is compensatory. We are not going to teach touch math every day in the classroom if you're giving it for a larger audience. It's a compensatory strategy. So that's one of the main differences between tutor and remedial. So you will have to shift depending on the child that you're working on, right? And at general times, you're going to be the general tutor, but at times you may have to take the remedial approach as well. These are a lot of virtual resources that I really wanted to give you guys. Everything is linked. Please go through them. Many of them are free. Some are with subscriptions. Brain Pop is one of my personal favorites. We have junior Brain Pop and of course the senior. Try to keep it as interactive, like your session with the child. And when they have these conditions, ADHD, autism, it's about them wanting to sit there and listen to you, right? Not just because the parents are making or not just because they have to. So try to come up with creative solutions. Starfall is free. There's apps, everything. Here is an interactive virtual visual schedule, like especially for kids with ADHD and autism, if they can see what's going to happen next. Okay, this is our outline for the day, right? Though all those things that you do is going to make a very fruitful session that you're going to have with the child. For example, like this, like, you can have it on the side. The time, I don't know how long your sessions are, but this is just an example for them to have first we are going to do this, then we are going to do that. Like, little things like that. If they know in advance, sorted. It's a lot easier for them, right? Timer. Very good one. Okay. So it's like the clock. I mean, I don't want to wait. I don't want to take too much time. I'm already Can you all see this? Right, so this is just again another timer, but it's more visual. And now let's say if you're going to do only a task for 5 minutes, right, it was just a click and you can silence the button. It rings. If it was a 5-minute task, 5, 6 number, still loading. Yeah. So this is going for 1 hour, yeah? So then it will go, like if you needed it only for 5 minutes, you can just, I mean, when you link it, when you click on the link, you will be able to try it out as well. And they can visually see the time going, right? These are highly complex ideas in the mind, knowing how time is passing, elapsing time. These are very complex things. So for kids with ADHD and autism, ADHD especially, if you can visually show them how much time has gone, how much is going on, and how much you have to pay, how much more time you have to pay attention to, it's going to help them a lot, right? Then we have mind mapping softwares, unlike general note taking, text to speech for dyslexia, high-low books. Have you ever heard high-low books before? High-low books are basically high content, especially age appropriate. Now, for example, you may have a child who's in year 8, but reading at grade 2 level, right? If you go and give that child to read a Ladybird book, he's not going to be encouraged to read or even to try to read. He's just not going to like you, right? Because, you know, they're teens or approaching teenagehood and they know that they have a difficulty and a disability, but they don't want to, like, you know, accept it and be like, oh, I don't want to be reading grade 2 stuff. So for them specifically, we have high-low books, which is like high content, but written in low level of language or decodable text. So it's easier for them to read, easier for them to comprehend, but the topic is high, age appropriate. So we consider them high-low. Twinkle, oh my God, it's like amazing resource. Subscription based, very small, not very small, it's relatively low in comparison to some of the other subscriptions, but they have an entire section for special need resources, right? And this over here, they've these mysteries. It's a fantastic creative approach to work with, right? Even if it's for a child with ADHD, they will sit and want to do this activity because it's a creative approach. So mysteries, math mysteries, English mysteries that they have, all you, I have hyperlinked them, and I will share this particular one with you all again. Cross-curricular. Cross-curricular is another approach. For example, you want to do math, English comprehension, but the passage itself is related to the math lesson that they are learning now. So I don't know to what extent the staff of Tutopiya have collaborative sessions with each child. If you all do, you can collaborate with the other subject teacher and try to use that. So then again, like, for example, it doesn't always, just because you're trying to do comprehension now, you don't have to be reading about Oliver Twist and try not to use the solar system lesson the science teacher is anyway teaching. Do you understand? So it's a lot of scaffolding